Hello, everybody, indeed. Welcome to Metadorn's Mini Talk on Log Horizon Season 2 for episodes 12 and 13. I'm Jero, joined by Foshizzle.
Hey everyone.
And we have a end of battle, end of raid episode to talk about, and also a sort of a more fun, lighthearted episode to talk about. We'll start with the raiding first because that got finished in episode 12 as we see that we saw Demikos drag Shiro basically to the final room and they have a confrontation. Meanwhile, the raiding party actually vanquishes Ibrahabra and turns their full attention to Taltogger, so they actually defeated one of the three bosses in the raid.
Yeah, that's a huge accomplishment because, like they said last week, they got dominated pretty hard. When
Mm-hmm.
all three bosses appeared. So downing a boss is always a good feeling after you played any. I mean, it's not even just regards to just MMOs. If you played RPGs in general, downing a boss that's kicking your ass is a great
Mm-hmm.
feeling.
Yeah. And then getting the gear and either being excited that you got something good or disappointed that you got something that you either already had or is crap anyway.
Oh yeah, I've been in several instances where I would spend 3 hours killing this boss and get nothing, like
Mm-hmm.
no reward whatsoever. So yeah,
Yeah. So Chirei and Kinjo, a lot of it is kind of just talky stuff. Kinjo explains the secret of how the system distributes gold to monsters, which is kind of fun in a way because we play so many role-playing games and you beat enemies and you get 500 gold. It's like how do creatures have money on them to drop when they die?
yeah. It's always a weird question, especially when you get raid bosses. If most raids where I've experienced are at 25, so it's like he's gotta have money for everyone. So it's like, how much money does he really have? You kill him by yourself.
Hmm.
But yeah, I guess it's a weird thing with games in general. There's money on creatures like rats or creatures. You're like, okay, where do you get money
Yeah.
from? But all right,
Ammo drops or something.
yeah.
Um, but then Shirei reveals the full details of his true goal and that he wants to acquire all these funds and he wants to acquire all the purchasable land in Yamato, reassign their credentials over to the Yamato server itself in an attempt to balance the property market of the world and in measure good faith. And in doing so, he forfeits all of the round table's land assets.
Yeah, it's basically like I think it comes down to it. He was like, "I'm not gonna pay for the guild hall no more, and you guys can take it back," because
Hmm.
he knows Kune as an NPC. So it almost sounds like he wants to give the land back to the NPCs. He's like, the players are inhabiting this world, but it's like we're gonna give something back to you. So in a way, both parties benefit. You know, that's what I think they're trying to do.
Hmm. Yeah, and then of course they complete the raid and they celebrate doing so, and they're the first group to clear the abyssal shaft. And Chirei informs Akatsuki of the success, and we kind of see some aftermath stuff like with Silver Sword and Demikos and a girl that we've I don't think I've ever caught her name, um,
Yeah, they
but
haven't
in the
said her
mean,
name yet. Yeah.
yeah, but she seems like somebody that can kind of calm down Demikos, that he's not so aggressive around her, that he's kind of on his toes around her.
Yeah, 'cause I think they mentioned earlier that he might have in-game wife or something a girl he
Yeah.
found. So yeah, she's kind of the one that, like you said, she doesn't take his I guess BS and she can put him straight when she's around him. So just seeing that to me it was kind of funny because he's always been this brute character that you're just like he's probably like so mean to everyone, but nah, he has a soft side to certain people, but not everyone's gonna
Hmm.
see that.
Yeah, and then as Shirei and his Log Horizon guild part ways with Silver Sword, that's when uh, the William asks a little uncomfortably, like, "Add me to your friends list." Already did.
Yeah, it's like kind of those like, we didn't see eye to eye before, but it's like, after hanging out with you for I guess a good, they hung out for a good month, I would say. So it's like
Hmm.
you kind of I guess see a different side, and like maybe you aren't as bad as I thought. That's what I
Yeah.
think Demikos almost even learned too. And one thing I'll mention is when they beat the boss, I thought it was really cool how that tower appeared and they put their names on that little thing. So it's
Hmm.
basically marking that this day was, this raid was cleared by these people. I thought that was kind of an interesting touch for
Hmm.
just how they
Yeah.
threw that in there. But yeah.
Like forever in history, remembered as the first group of people to clear the
Hmm.
abyssal shaft. And then we see Shirei and Log Horizon come back and see like Henrietta and Akatsuki and them all waiting. And then they see Totora, and of course that causes some issues with Marielle. And we'll talk a little bit more about that. But one more thing for this episode, Plant Wyden, we remember them from the very end of the first season of Log Horizon. They're starting to come back into the story a bit now. And we see some of their group and some of their people talking about Akihabara and that Shiro's back in the city.
Yeah, that group gives off this I forget what they're called in the Hunter x Hunter, but it gives off this vibe that they're like a group like that. I forgot what they're called, but they're like the spiders or whatever.
Yeah, the Phantom
Yeah,
Troop
they give
is
off that
Hunter.
vibe. They're like,
Hmm.
each of them are kind of like they look menacing, and
Hmm.
you don't. It's like you don't want to mess with them. And even the episode, next one we're gonna talk about, there's even more of like a evil twist to them that maybe they're not, the friendly. I guess because Log Horizon is kind of the happy guild, so I guess
Yeah.
you gotta have the opposite, a guild that's kind of ruthless and they don't care about what they do. So it's kind of I can't wait to see what they do. I'm curious about this group.
Hmm. Whereas it's obvious Shirei is always out for what can be assumed is the greater good.
Hmm.
Wyden seems in it for whatever it is they want, and that's it.
Right.
So from this episode, it is made known that Totora is actually a guy in real life, a real life guy playing as a girl. Shirei caught on to this, and as we discussed in the next episode, everybody else does except for Natsuki.
Right, yeah, that's kind of I guess, the running gag with Tetor that certain people know, certain people don't know, and I guess that's I don't know. It's weird they threw this in there this season, but I guess they want to add maybe something funny, maybe
Yeah.
a gag here and there.
Hmm. And that's what all of episode 13 was a lot of humorous stuff and stuff that we hadn't seen in the series for a while, like the old panties joke that causes Akatsuki to fly and kick Natsuki. Even one scene where she was just cooking and they were completely separate places and kicks Natsuki and goes back to cooking the cake and she goes, "Oh, that you were just imagining things. I didn't leave."
Right, it's like a natural reflex for her.
Yeah.
Her ears start burning when she hears mention of anything panties. He's like, "Oh,
Yeah.
gotta go deal with something."
So this is the fun and lighthearted episode 13, Valentine's Day, A Sweet Trap. And so it is Valentine's Day, so, we've been talking about ships on the Metanor mini talks before about Log Horizon. This was sort of like the big episode where they kind of had some fun with those ships. And let's see, we have Minori and Akatsuki fighting for Shirei's affection, and then that's when Totora teases him about his relationship with Konami from the Debauchery Tea Party. That's the girl that we've seen in the opening. She has like the big hat and she has the white outfit.
Right, yeah.
Uh,
They
yeah.
mentioned her name, and both girls were just like, "Wait a minute!" Like they've never heard this name before. And like
Hmm.
Tetor, I figured it out. I'm like, how does she know? It's very confusing how Tetor knows this other person from the Debauchery Tea Party. It's like, how do you know that information? But yeah.
Hmm.
A side note I want to mention, I just realized the title episode "Sweet Trap" in this Tetor because it's technically a trap, so it's kind of
Oh
funny.
yeah. Yeah, that's pretty good.
That's pretty funny.
Uh, and then that's when Totora is kind of sort of, you know, going up to Minori and Akatsuki and trying to egg them on to do something that'll cause Shirei to reveal the truth about who it is that he likes. And she tells them about the coconia fruit and how the flavor text in the series is becoming more real, and that if you actually make this, that you can ask Shirei a question and he will answer truthfully.
Right, yeah,
And
like a truth serum type of
mhm.
ordeal
and
here.
and then the fun comes from the fact that they acquire all of these coconut fruits, and Katsuki acts like she got him out from a mission, and then later in the episode, Sirora wants them for Nyanta, but they're all gone. They're all just happen to be sold out.
Right, and it's funny seeing the girls just they're trying to hide the fact that they're making this food for someone, but yeah,
Hmm.
everyone, even I think Nyata knows everything's going. He's like, yeah, I think he makes this comment like he kind of steps back when all the girls start getting involved. Like, what have I done? Like this is not gonna be good. But part of me feels that he wants to see it happen because he wants the people, everyone around to be happy. But it's still funny seeing Tedora kind of be like the jester, kind of poke everyone like, so and so likes you. You should do something about it. And yeah.
Hmm. Yeah. So and then when they get to that scene where they make the cake for him and then he eats it, they get cold feet and they get a little too nervous about asking the question. So then Rudy walks in later and he asks uh, something about what he'd like for dinner, and then Shirei just yells, "Curry! I like curry."
Yeah, that's pretty funny. I'm like, but part of me is like, yeah, I figured they wouldn't ask him in front of everyone like that. I'm like, it's like kind of it's still a personal thing. It's like you probably need to wait till he's like alone and ask him. But yeah, it's it's still funny to see that.
Hmm. And then meanwhile, we see Shirei and Isaac. They talk about Akihabara a little bit and peaceful nature. We also see the Misa, who last we saw, she got switched out with Krusty, and he got missing, and her arm went missing. So Roderick and Ichimon Jinosuke made her a prosthetic arm, and they're kind of wondering like what could have happened, where could Krusty have gone if her arm didn't just heal itself in the
Right?
game.
Yeah. Yeah. It still hints at to the fact that maybe he might be possibly the first actual casualty of the game. That
Hmm.
these people have been in the game for so long. We don't really know how long it's been. The game's probably falling apart, and again, it's flavor text is coming to life, so that tells me something's corrupted in the game. And I wouldn't be surprised
Yeah.
if maybe they revealed that this other guild had maybe a hand in it. I wouldn't be surprised. I mean, no pun intended with the girl lost her hand, but yeah, it
Yeah.
makes you wonder like what's really going on behind. Everyone doesn't really know. But I also wonder, she's got a prosthetic arm. It's like, how is she gonna exactly explain that to everyone? They see it. Are they gonna
Hmm.
give her like some kind of thing to put over that, or it's gonna
Yeah,
be
they have to
interesting. I'm wondering.
make it look like a real hand.
Yeah.
Um, and then we see more of Plant White and stuff. We see, oh shoot, I'm forgetting the girl's name. Starts with an N.
New.
Nureha.
Yeah, Nuruha.
Yeah, we see her, and we kind of thought maybe like she's a centerpiece of this Plant Huaiden and this evil operation, and that she wants to be Shirei's sort of main rival. But as it turns out, she's really just a figurehead in all this because we see Intex come in and she's bossing her around and saying like, "Oh, you're on the floor again, not sleeping. Doesn't matter what you do if you want to show up to the meeting or not." So we know that you know, while Nudie Hobb may be bad, she's certainly not the worst.
Right. When we first met her in the first season, she came off as being maybe the leader of this group. That she had it all together, and she was like, the master planner, and giving all this, almost like you said, Shiro's rival. But in fact, it's the other way around. Like you said, she's just like a mascot, and that's all she really is. And
Hmm.
it makes you wonder what kind of, what do they have over her that keeps her there? Is there something that they have on her that she doesn't want revealed? Is maybe she like an NPC or not even alive at all? But it makes you wonder
Hmm.
what they got over her. Because like in MMO, you would think she could just leave, but I guess we saw it in the beginning with Minori and her brother that they were in this other guild and they couldn't exactly leave either. So
Hmm.
there's something
And
they
they
got on her.
and they probably don't need much on her because we, I think we kind of knew about her before about they were using the phrase trash and gutter or something like that from the slums or whatever, and that she wasn't maybe exactly the best person maybe in real life or whatever. So maybe they didn't really need that much to kind of control her and abuse her the way they are
Right.
from what we saw in this episode.
And from what I looked at, it's more like a psychological abuse thing they're doing here. Maybe a little bit of physical, but there's definitely something they have the keeper there or a reason that she's still sticking around. But yeah, I'm interested in seeing where this goes. But like I said, with her, she's like you said, the figurehead, and there are I guess, much more menacing characters in that group that I've
Hmm.
seen from last episode. So can't wait to see when they make their move. It'll probably be a while because, like I said, we're getting to the I guess lighthearted side of Lock Horizon right now.
Yeah. Hmm. And it seems like we're going to get, like, for maybe the next couple episodes or so until the next arc really starts, we'll kind of get this mix of fun with Valentine stuff and dramatic story moving elements with Plant White and a little bit with Shirai here and there with the guild. And as we see Krusty's situation make some kind of progression.
Right, I agree.
All right, and for some extra stuff from this episode, ships all around. Talk about Nyanta and Sorobra, Shira and Nakatsuki, and Minori, Natsuku and Marielle, with Totoro just kind of just being a nuisance. And one of the funnier ones was Shoryu watching on Marielle and Natsuku as she gave him chocolates, and then Shoryu was just walking by all depressed. Hey, you want some extra chocolates? Sure.
And then she just walks off like, oh, I felt bad for her, but in the long run, I think I prefer Natsuku and her because I would think in the real world maybe they're both kind of similar in age. Shiro kind of looks like he might be a little younger than
Hmm.
Natsuku, especially how he acts. He's not,
Yeah.
he's kind of a little bit immature about certain things, but so is Natsuku of certain things as well. But yeah,
And Totora, what is her deal? Is she just there to troll, or what's her real purpose?
yeah. So I'm wondering, it's like I keep hearing that she's important later on, but it makes you wonder what she's up to because she's always it's like he's up on everyone's business basically. He's kind of nosy, but also he's not being mean about it. He's just like being goofy. I think he made
Hmm.
a comment that he likes the keeping the secret from Natsuki because it's in his idea a fun thing to do. But yeah, it makes you wonder what his real intention is. If he's really maybe just messing around, I guess.
Hmm. And with Nirgha back, we didn't have enough time to really formulate a view on her. But do you feel like maybe we should be more sympathetic to her situation now, as she seems to be uh, being used by Plant White End to accomplish whatever it is they're trying to accomplish?
Yeah, I think so. If it feels like that she may have been tricked into this situation that she's in now, so it makes you wonder what they're gonna do with her next,
Hmm.
and if, like you said, if we should be feeling sorry for her or not. But yeah, I guess we're gonna figure out what they do with her and see if they are trying to say, oh well, she was tricked into this, not it's not her fault. It'd be
Hmm.
interesting.
And then I think by the rest of the series, maybe this will be the guild rivalry. It'll be Log Horizon and whoever else comes to help, like TDD, or maybe even Silver Sword will make an appearance by the end of the season.
Yeah, and I wouldn't be
Which,
surprised if like Demicost, randomly appears because
Mhm.
he's got over his thing with Shiro and figures out, oh, gotta help each other. And I'm really hoping that maybe this new guild has something to do with a way to get out of the game. Maybe they have this secret of how to, actually get out. And maybe they've been out of the
Mhm.
game. They know, they got an edge to something that they know a secret.
Yeah,
I hope.
could have been what happened to Krusty.
Right. They're responsible for the flavor text going nuts, and maybe they corrupting the game. Who knows? It'd be
Hmm.
interesting if they did something like that.
Yeah, I agree. All right, and that has been our mini talks for episodes 12 and 13. We will be continuing on to the next core in the winter 2015 season. So I hope you stay tuned and hope you enjoy these mini talks. For Fosh, I'm Jero. Thank you again, and we will see you next week.